Good morning, my dear children. How are you all? I hope you are fine. So, last video we have covered small topic from a lesson ruling the countryside. Okay. So, in this video we are going to continue that chapter. Okay. So, we'll finish that chapter in this video. Okay. So, listen carefully. It's like a small interesting story. Okay. Just listen like a story. Think like you're hearing a story. Okay. It's just an interesting story. Okay. So let's start. Crops for Europe. Crops for Europe. So Europe need crops. So what they did? They cultivated those crops in India and they took to their place. Okay. So by the late 18th century, the company tried to expand the cultivation of opium and indigo. So two crops. Okay, they thought to expand the cultivation. They thought to cultivate these two crops more in India. Okay, what are the two crops? Opium and indigo. Okay, children. Then next, the company forced cultivators in various parts of India to produce other crops. Then in other places also, it forced the cultivators to cultivate some crops like jute in Bengal, tea in Assam, sugarcane in the United Province, that means now Uttar Pradesh, wheat in Punjab, cotton in Maharashtra and Punjab, rice in Metros. Okay, so these are the crops they cultivated in those places in those days. Okay, so just color a history. Okay, so the rich blue color was produced from a plant called indigo. So indigo, from that plant, what color was produced? Rich blue color. Rich blue color was produced from this crop. So look this plant. Okay, so the blue dye used in the Morris prints in the 19th century. So from this they have extracted blue dye that they used in prints also. Britain was manufactured from indigo plants cultivated in India. So for many purposes, this blue dye extracted from this indigo plants was used. Okay, India was the biggest supplier of indigo in the world at that time. So during that time, India was the first and biggest supplier of indigo in the world. Okay, so which country was the biggest supplier of indigo during that time? India. Okay, children. So for what this plant was used? For extracting rich blue color. Okay, children. Why the demand of Indian indigo? Why there is more demand? Why everyone needs Indian indigo? Indigo place grows in the tropics and the Indian indigo was used by cloth manufacturers in Italy, France and Britain to dye cloth. Okay, so this indigo plants that will grow only in tropic areas. Okay, and this Indian indigo that was used by cloth manufacturers for making the color in the cloth. In which places? Italy, France and Britain to dye the cloth, to color the cloth to blue, they used this dye. Okay, so small amounts of Indian indigo reached the European market and its price was very high. Okay, so small amount that reached in the European market and price was like very high. Okay, so what they thought, this European cloth manufacturers, they depended on another plant that is called wood. Okay, wood. So from this they have made violet and blue dye, but that color was not as good as indigo. Okay, so the indigo, that plant, from that we extracted a rich blue color, whereas this wood, from this plant, that color was like pale and dull color, not like bright color. So Indigo plant was like a demand. Indigo produced rich blue color, so it was like demand. Everyone needs indigo. By the end of 18th century, the demand for Indian indigo grew further. So by the end of 18th century, what happened? The demand, the need for Indian indigo grew. Everyone needs Indian indigo. While the demand for indigo increased, its existing supplies from the West Indies and America collapsed for a variety of reasons. Okay, so demand for indigo increased, but the supplies from West India and America that collapsed. Okay, and between 1783 and 1789, the production of indigo in the world fell by half. So between 1783 and 1789, between those period, this production fell down. Okay. Britain turned India. So Britain targeted India to cultivate more indigo plants. So in Europe, the demand for indigo was high. So the company in India looked ways to expand the area in India for indigo cultivation. Okay, so Europe need Indian land to cultivate indigo plants. Okay, gradually the indigo trade grew. Commercial agents and officials of the company began investing in indigo protection. So indigo trade grew. Everyone needs indigo and the demand for indigo increases. So in India, they start investing in indigo crops. So they thought producing more indigo plants here so they can earn more. The company officials were attracted by the prospect of high profits and came to India to become indigo planters. So that company officials, big people in the company, they thought there are many money and profits in this business, in indigo plant business. So they came to India to become indigo planters, to earn. They came to India and they became indigo planters. How was indigo cultivated? So how this indigo was cultivated? In two main systems, this cultivation was done. One is niche and other one is Ryoti. What are the two, my dear children? Niche and Ryoti. So within the system of niche cultivation, in niche cultivation, the planter produced indigo in lands that he directly controlled. So what happened? In niche cultivation, the planters produce indigo in lands that he directly controls. Okay, so he has that land in his hand and he directly controls, and he makes people to work there under his control. Okay, he either bought the land or rented it from other zamindars and produced indigo by directly employing hired laborers. That means he brought that land from zamindar or big people and he used that land for indigo cultivation by employing some laborers there. So directly he is controlling those places. Okay, that is called as niche cultivation. So what are the problems with this niche cultivation? So under niche cultivation, the planters found it difficult to expand the area. So the planters, they brought the land from zamindars and they are cultivating. But they found difficult to expand the area. If they have to expand the area, they need to buy the nearby land, right? So they felt some difficult to expand. Indigo could only cultivate on fertile lands. That means rich and good land. In that land only indigo can be cultivated. Planters attempt to lease land around the indigo factory and evict the peasants from the area. So what they have thought, the planters, they lease the land around the indigo factory. So around the indigo factory, they brought a lease. They took for lease the land. So the people living in that place, the peasants, poor peasants living in the place, were have to move from that place. Okay. Niche cultivation on a large scale also required many plows and bullocks. So they cultivated in large place. So what they need? They need more plows and bullocks. Till the late 19th century, planters were therefore reluctant to expand the area under niche cultivation. So till late 19th century, they were trying to expand the area. Even though it's difficult, what they have done? they around the factory they took all the land for lease and they made the peasants to move away from that place. Now another one type. First we have seen about niche cultivation. Now we are going to see about the Ryoti system. Okay. So two types we have seen. One we have completed niche cultivation. We have completed that, and now we are going to see about Ryoti system. Indigo on the land of ryots. So under this, the planters were forced to sign a contract. Okay, contract on agreement. Those who signed the contract got cash advances from the planters. So, the planters under the Ryoti system were forced to sign a contract. Okay, in that contract, what they have did, those who signed the contract, they will get the cash in advance. Okay, from the planters. The planters will give the cash in advance. So, at low rates of interest to produce indigo. Say they have to produce the indigo. When the harvested crop was delivered to the planter, after harvesting, they have to deliver those things to the planters. Then new land was sanctioned. Then again the cycle starts all over again. Okay. So peasants soon realized how the loan system was. After an indigo harvest, the land could not be sown with rice. So what happened here under Ryoti system? They have to sign a contract with the planter. The planter will give some cash to the peasants so that they have to cultivate in that place, and after that they have to give this yield to them. Okay, and after that then they will give the new loan with low interest. Then again this cycle continues. They have to get the loan, do the work, then you have to give the yield, then again loan. Like that, this was like a cycle. So soon they realized, peasants, how difficult this was, how this loan system was. And after indigo harvest, that land will become like unfertile, that we cannot grow rice in that place. So the blue ribbon after riots in Bengal refused to grow indigo. So one rebellion, one war, like a war, it happened. Blue rebellion. So after this, what happened? Riots in Bengal, they refused to grow indigo. They told like, we will not grow indigo. People who worked for the planters were socially boycotted, and the gumastas, agents of planters who began to collect rent, were beaten up. So what happened? They refused to grow indigo in that place because they found the difficulties. So they told like, we will not grow indigo in this place. And those who are coming to collect the tax, collect the rent, and gumastas, agents of planters, everyone beaten up. You should not enter here. Okay. The Bengal riots had the support of local zamindars and village headmen in the rebellion against the planters. So what happened? Bengal riots were there. They had the support of local zamindars and village headmen. So against the planters, they made a rebellion. Okay, that is called as blue rebellion. Okay, like a war against this, struggle against this planters. Okay, the indigo peasants, they thought like British government will also support them in the struggle against the planters. Okay, they thought like in the struggle British government will support us only because they know about the struggle, so they will support us against the planters. After the revolt in 1857, the British government was worried about the possibility of another popular rebellion. As the rebellion spread, the intellectuals from Calcutta rushed into the indigo districts. The government set up the Indigo Commission to inquire in the system of indigo production. The commission asked ryots to fulfill their existing contracts, but also told them they could refuse to produce indigo in future. So what happened after this revolt in 1857? The British government worried whether any rebellion or about to happen. It was worried about. So what happened? As the rebellion was spreading, the intellectuals from Calcutta, they went to all these indigo districts. Then the government set up Indigo Commission to check what is happening in the system, what is the problem in this indigo production system. So this commission started inquiring about what is the problem. Okay? And the commission asked the riots to fulfill their existing contracts. So already some contracts will be signed between riots and the planters, right? So they told like you fulfill those, and after that it's no need to produce. Whatever contract you have signed, you have to complete those contract, like the commission asked the riots. Indigo production in Bengal after the revolt. Okay, so in Bengal it was collapsed. Then Mahatma Gandhi returned from South Africa. So Mahatma Gandhi, he went to South Africa, and after that when he was returning, a peasant from Bihar asked him to visit Champaran and see the plight of indigo cultivators. So after when Gandhiji is returning from South Africa, one peasant from Bihar, okay, he asked Mahatma Gandhi to see the place called Champaran. So see the condition of indigo cultivators, what are the struggles they are facing. So in 1917 he visited, which marked the beginning of Champaran movement against the indigo planters. So in 1917 Gandhiji visited those places. That is the beginning of Champaran movement. What movement, my dear children? Champaran movement against the indigo planters. So thank you children, that's all for today's class, and we completed this class. So what are the things we have seen today? Today we have seen what are the crops that cultivated in India for the British during those time, and mainly we have seen about indigo plant. What are happened with indigo plant? For what they are cultivating indigo plant? For getting rich blue color. Okay, then what are the problems are there? How they are cultivating indigo plant? Under two system, one was niche cultivation, other one was Ryoti cultivation. In niche, what they will do? The planters, they will have the land under their own control, and they will make the laborers to work there and get the yield. Okay, but in Ryoti, what is there? One contract is between planters and Ryot. They have to sign a contract, they will get a loan, they have to cultivate the crop, and after that they have give the yield to them. Then again what happened? Again next loan, again this cycle continues. Okay, so that we have seen. After that we have seen about blue rebellion. Okay, about against this indigo planters. Okay children, so that's all for today's video. You just go through this video once again, you will understand everything, because it's just like a story, right? So thank you children, have a nice day.